Is up, everybody? This is Keith Jamison. Go back at a guy 231 across the DFS industry. We are back for more EPL action. 4-game slate. These are my favorite type of slates. We don't have big names. We don't have big teams. Low totals. You know, a little bit of chaos with some injuries and red cards, especially at the top of the salary cap. I love these slates. Fits my type of style. You know, how I really play DFS soccer, which is attack the floors, attack the set pieces, let everybody else try to chase the goals, and just, I don't want to say weasel, just cruise your way into the cash. So going to go over some of those top plays that you can target for floors, you know, and again, we're looking for an optimal kind of cash game sense here. Obviously in GPP, you need to like mix it up, play some of those goal scorers. But, you know, if you're playing like single entry cash games head to head, I'm going to give you a lot of players that you should target. Just a quick reminder, though, to thank Pat and the entire team at the Mayo Media Network for getting soccer on this platform. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. And also, if you're in audio form, make sure you're subscribing to the feed. And finally, if you want more of my content, we also have some GPP picks from my boy Alex Hooper on the channel. Check out FSI DFS on YouTube or on Twitter if you want to find the videos at FSI_DFS. All right, let's jump into the action because there is some good plays. And depending on how much soccer you play, these may be household names to you, or you might be looking at this graphic and going, who? What? Right? So let's jump into it. At the top, Andrews Townsend at 10,500. I think in a lot of ways, he's going to decide the slate in terms of how much salary you have, which way you go. Andrews Townsend last week, especially in the first half, for those of us that played him, was a little scary. All of a sudden, we saw Demarai Gray taking over set pieces for Everton. But by the end, Andrews Townsend was taking some, still is a crossing machine. We're seeing back to like the good old days, Andrews Townsend at Crystal Palace, where you plug him in, no matter the salary, and no matter if he has set pieces, and the guy just crosses the ball a ton, shoots, just as everything we want from a DFS player. And now, without Richarlison, without Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Andrews Townsend's kind of, and Demarai Gray are like the focal points of the Everton attack. Everton is the biggest favorite on the slate at -154. And I think Andrews Townsend is a very good play as a result. And just a quick reminder, let me just get the other odds out because I did jump into the picks one before that. So we have Everton hosting Watford -154. Southampton hosting Burnley. They're the second biggest favorite on slate, -106, 2.25. Crystal Palace -105, hosting Newcastle, 2.5 total. And then we have Leeds and Wolves. Leeds is a slight home favorite at +140, 2.5. So again, no 3 totals, not a lot of goals in the slate. So we're going to attack the floors. And when we talk floor, if you've been watching my videos, you know Rafinha is my guy. 9,700. We're even getting a little discount here. I think they could have priced them up higher given the slate complexion, but 9,700 share of set pieces. The guy takes on just about more than anybody else in the EPL with dribbles. He finally started for Brazil, is why he missed the game last weekend and was absolutely dominating in the international break. So 9,700 Rafinha, just lock him into my lineups. He's my guy. Love Rafinha at 9,700. Demarai Gray at 8,200, as previously mentioned, started taking set pieces for Everton at 8,200. Look, at this point, I think we at least have to give him a share of those sets with Andrews Townsend. And Demarai Gray, even before the set pieces, was producing really nice numbers, scoring goals, just being kind of a do-it-all, Swiss Army knife of a player. We can remember back to Leicester days when Demarai Gray would get a shot. He would absolutely crush DFS-wise. Then he went on loan to the Bundesliga, did okay there before this move to Everton, and is now coming good for them. So Demarai Gray, a really good young player, biggest favorite, 8,200. I think that discount off of Townsend, as long as you don't feel like you need Townsend for the forward spot, which I don't think that you do, I think that's big. That 2,300 can go a long way. So as of now, at 7:41, recording this on Friday morning, I think I'm Demarai Gray over Andrews Townsend in an optimal sense. Nathan Redmond at 8,000 is our James Ward-Prowse from Southampton. James Ward-Prowse, due to that red card versus Chelsea, has a 3-game match ban. This is the second game he's serving. Nathan Redmond last week at 8,000. We brought him up. I think he was only about 5,500 last week, or maybe even sub 5,000. Absolutely dominated, over 20 DK. I believe he scored a goal or got an assist. Was taking a monopoly set pieces. Again, much like Rafinha, everything we want from a DFS player, right? Taking guys on, crossing the ball at open play, set pieces, shooting, all that stuff. And now he finds himself in a plus matchup here versus Burnley as a minus 106 favorite at home. So I love Nathan Redmond. That would be your second forward if you decide not to go to Andrews Townsend. So you could go Rafinha, Nathan Redmond. If you still don't believe in Nathan Redmond, you think that was a one-game, I'm trying to think, outlier. Dwight McNeil will give you a little bit more security at 7,000. Dwight McNeil, no matter the matchup, always seems to get close to double digits. And then when he gets in a plus matchup, then he goes nuts. He almost put up 10 DK versus City. I think it was 9.8 DK, which that's an accomplishment in itself. 9.8 DK at City to me is like the equivalent of like 15. So Dwight McNeil shares set pieces with Ashley Westwood, crosses the ball a ton in open play. You know, we'd love for him to keep flashing some more goal upside, but you know, we're really in DFS soccer looking for crosses, fouls drawn, guys in wide area that we can predict those events to happen more often. 7,000, Dwight McNeil, a really nice play. Lucas Dean at 6,200. Look, Lucas Dean for 2.5 years of our EPL DFS lives has just been a lock and load. If you ever see him this cheap, was always taking a share of set pieces for Everton, crossing the ball a ton and open. You could often expect 15, 20 crosses for Lucas Dean. This is a little different Lucas Dean under Rafa Benitez. He's not getting as up the pitch, as not taking set pieces, but he's still producing double digits with tackles, still getting a decent amount of crosses, 7 to 10 crosses in most games. So I think at 6,200, he is very in play, is still the top defender on the slate, but a little bit less of that, oh, Lucas Dean's on the slate, let me lock him in. Matt Ritchie is a reason that you maybe think to pause on Lucas Dean. Matt Ritchie has a share set piece for Newcastle, plays as a wing back, so he's a much more attacking in terms of position than Lucas Dean. Newcastle's only a slight road dog at Crystal Palace. Both of those teams really need to win. That's going to be, by the end of the year, and depending on what Newcastle does with the new ownership, that could be part of a relegation battle there. So if either team can get 3 points, that's huge. Look for Matt Ritchie to push way up the pitch. A way to get Crystal Palace exposure from the floor standpoint is Luka Milosevic at 4,800, taking a monopoly set pieces for them. The argument against Luka Milosevic is he's very João Moutinho-like, who did not make this list. He's 4,900. He is very in play as well. Just I have history with João Moutinho. That just not my type of guy. And Luka Milosevic kind of fits that same mold. The difference is João Moutinho is a road dog. Luka Milosevic is a home favorite. But when I say the mold, it's these guys that they have set pieces, so they're immediately on our radar. But they play a defensive role. They sit back deep. They're not really charging forward into the box. They're not getting a lot of shots. Their assist opportunities are only from corners. They're not doing much in open play value. So what happens if you get the game script wrong, or let's just say for some unforeseen reason, right? Conor Gallagher goes back to taking sets for Crystal Palace, and Luka Milosevic doesn't have any. Now you sit there at 4.8 DK or 4.8K, and you're like, I'm rooting for tackles. I'm rooting for a foul drawn. I'm praying that I don't get a yellow card. This isn't fun at all. My guy, I'm just hoping to get to 5 DK now before he subs out. And that's where you got to be careful with these defensive-minded guys. Why we like set takers or players that are in advanced roles, like wings, number 10s that sit behind the striker that have set pieces, because at least if something happens where they don't get any corners or they lose their corners, you're not drawing dead. Speaking of that, Daniel James is that type of player in that 4,600 range. Should be playing the left wing's position for Leeds in this matchup as a slight favorite versus Wolves. Look, I think Rafinha coming back helps all of Leeds players. It just makes their offense go. He is really the fulcrum of everything Leeds does. Leeds paid a ton of money for Daniel James from Manchester United. He's finally getting, a longer role. So at 4,600, gives you an attacking player in a wide position. He's most likely not going to have set pieces. There's a shot at it. It should be Stuart Dallas and Rafinha, but it's sub 5,000 for an attacking player on an attacking team, so I like it. Finally, for those looking for a punt, watch Burnley left back situation. Charlie Taylor is very, very questionable for the game. So Eric Peters at 3,600 could get the start. For those that played EPL in the past, Eric Peters is a pretty decent left back. Might get you 3, 4, 5 crosses, pretty active tackler. He's had games where he gets the spot start. I remember, I want to say like a year or two ago, like 2,800. Some of us played him, some of us didn't. I think he showed up like 2 goals, right? So it became, if you didn't have Eric Peters, you weren't cashing. So, always look for those value left backs or value fullbacks, I should say. So Eric Peters, 3,600 is the guy that I kind of have circled right now that I'll be watching that situation. All right, that'll do it. 10 picks, interesting slate. I hope you all enjoy it and do well. Thank you again for watching. Just a quick reminder to like, subscribe, comment on the Mayo Media Network. And if you want to find more from me, at GatorGuy231 on Twitter and at FSI_DFS on Twitter for our site. And make sure you check out our additional soccer content on our YouTube page, FSI DFS. Thank you all for watching. With that, I'll say, see you.